Welcome back, guys. Another quick fishing related review. These are a much smaller diving minnow. So these guys float. See, they have a green eye, real nice metallic, kind of holographic finish on them with black on the top, goldish orange on the bottom. So in the springtime here in Pennsylvania, we like to fish some of the bigger rivers, fishing artificials. First opening day, opening week, pretty large streams. And we usually fish a golden black Rapala or a brown trout Rapala lure. Some of our favorites are the floating in the 5 range or the 7 range. But the most hot lure that we've used is probably the CD5 and CD7, depending on how big the river is, which is, if you're not familiar, is a countdown lure. So it actually sinks, you count, and it actually, will sink a certain amount over those seconds that you count, and then you retrieve it back through the water. It's a, wobbling minnow. But they're like $7 a piece. I fish from a kayak in the river. You'll lose a bunch every day if you're fishing in the rains where you're going to catch fish, which is down near the bottom. So I was looking for an alternative because there's not a lot of brands out there. You got the Track Down and some other lures, but they just don't swim as good as the Rapala. And this doesn't either, but it swims good enough that I've caught a bunch of trout on this lure, and also caught a bunch when the Rapala stops working and the fish are getting a little wise to it in a hole. You can switch over to this and sometimes catch an extra couple fish out of that pool. One thing I'll say about this specific lure is it does not work well in fast-moving water. Although I do fish it in rivers, I usually fish it in backwaters and eddies where the water current has slowed down considerably. It seems to work well then. So this is a floating version. It'll float when there's no drag on it. When you're pulling and jigging it, it will dive down to roughly about 3 feet below the surface. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of these lures on Amazon and AliExpress, and most of them are junk. They just don't swim well, or they don't look right. It looks like a great lure when you buy it online, but when you get it in the water, it doesn't. These actually work as long as you work within that limitation of fishing in slow water. I've caught a ton of trout on these and would highly recommend them, and they're only about $1. So let's get some specs real quick. Overall length, we're looking at about 64 millimeters. Width, we're looking at about 10 millimeters by 13 millimeters. Let's see how much this weighs. Talking about 0.1 ounces. So yeah, check them out. I'll try and find a link and put it in the description. And if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.